Hey Jordan, how are you?
Hey, Fernando, right?
Yeah, Fernando. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's unfortunately hasn't been too busy lately, but how are you doing? Your family's all right?
Yeah,
Handling
everyone's well. Yeah, it's been weird staying at home working.
yeah.
Throwing on the collar shirt and then just sitting down back on the couch has been a little weird, but it's definitely been a busy time for us getting communication out to all the players and everything. So we're still staying pretty busy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mhm. Yeah, of course. So, again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me. I saw that you showed up on our radar as far as having some initial interest, and I wanted to take that call personally to kind of answer any questions you had and just see what we can provide initially off this first conversation. So
Yeah,
just let's keep this short. I know that it's Easter Sunday. I want you to be able to get back to your family. Whatever else
appreciate
you have
that.
in mind. So how about just a quick 5-minute conversation? I want to get to know just a little more about your everyday, kind of how right now your coaching staff interacts with your players. And then additionally, kind of any pains you've been having as far as communication goes, engagement with players, player accountability, things like that, and kind of seeing
Yeah,
if,
yeah.
we can support those solutions.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah. So I guess I can give you a little background. Not sure how much but like I said, my name's Jordan. Been working for 6 or 7 years now as Bill Belichick's personal assistant, and he was having dinner the other night with Tom Coughlin, who's the GM of the Jaguars. And something that Bill and I have just really seen take a toll on our organization the past couple of years is the time constraints that's often put in place just because we don't have a centralized route of communication. So a lot of what happens right now is a lot of paper signing, a lot of documents, a lot of just honestly group texts and messages, group meets, stuff like that for our team communications. And just been such a strain on our time. So, luckily Tom gave you guys a good recommendation. So Bill asked if I could just follow up and see what you're about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that is what we're all about. It kind of seems like, he was able to communicate a lot of those as far as communication. That's kind of our first pillar that we really want to focus on is both, from players to coaches, and then from coaches to players. Both having that two-way uh, form of communication, and additionally the engagement part. We do believe that we're able to engage players a lot. Even something you said, you mentioned documents and signing things like that. We do work with multiple programs, DocuSign being one of them that allows players to sign right on the app. So it
Uh,
doesn't have to be, they don't have to take accountability of all these different things, and then you miss one line, and then now you can't play the season or something like that. So we kind of compile it all into one interface that just makes it easier for both the administrative side of your team as well as the players who have to sign on the line. So it seems like, yeah, it seems like would you say that a lot of the times kind of having communication specifically between coaches and players has been a difficulty for you?
yeah, it's almost the disintermediation of the information that tends up being the tough piece. And honestly, I've seen it take a toll on me. Bill has tons of stuff he wants to pass into the team, and I'm scrambling around. And a lot of the other assistants and administrators throughout our organization sort of feel the same way. So, I feel like I have a comfortable grasp on what you guys are doing. I've seen it on the website, but I kind of want to get to the point here, and that's I'm a little bit worried. I saw you guys, work with Duke, work with Trinity, but wasn't able to tell as much if you're still in the startup stage or ready for a big organization like the Patriots. I mean, coming on board with us, we have hundreds and hundreds of employees, hundreds of players on our team. I'm just a little bit worried you'd be able to, support the full demand of our organization.
Yeah, of course, and that's a fair consideration to make, considering that this is a big transition. We're not going to pretend that it's going to be take an hour. It'll be a transition period, but we do have tons of testimonials from other both NFL teams, MLS teams, NHL, NBA, MLB that I'd love to put you in touch with if that's what you need. Kind of more communication, seeing if this is successful for other teams. In the NFL alone, we've worked with 17 teams. Obviously, you said you were talking to the You've heard the testimonial from the Jaguars. The Titans are another team we work with, and all of them have had great success on our platform. And another thing that I want to highlight is the fact that we are working with different professional organizations. So obviously, you being in the NFL, that it's its own type of ball game. No pun intended, but you can't necessarily coach an NFL team the same way that you coach an MLB team. And by us being able to be on both those networks really shows that we are able to adapt to whatever the team needs. So we really put all the tools for adaptability, and then also for you to have that maximum engagement. We both teach you how to do it, so that way you're not calling me up every 2 days, and give you all the tools right there, so that you can make tweaks on your own ends, really adapt to exactly how you want your team to run.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you got a good sell there. Like I said, Bill was pretty sold. I mean, Tom really talked you guys up. So I think we're comfortable in at least giving you guys a shot. And sort of what I'm going to ask about, how do you guys normally do implementation? If we wanted to say, give this a test run.
Yeah, for sure. I would need to check internally as far as the demo periods, but I think a 1 month demo would definitely be doable on our end. After that, we know, of course, we'd love to get you on to the full-time package, which for NFL teams to start at $75,000. That's kind of just the base package. But you guys being a big team, I'd love to see what we can work internally. That month demo, would be a gift from us. We definitely don't offer that to every team, but I grew up in the Boston area. I grew up as a big Patriots fan, so I want to be able to, do anything I can to give back to my home team. So I can
Hey,
definitely
we'd
give
love to
you,
hear that. Go Pats.
yeah, go Pats, exactly right. Even without Brady, I'm still a Pats fan. Uh,
I love it.
so yeah,
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about,
No, I mean,
go ahead.
so sort of like you were saying, I mean, you're from Boston. You understand how big of an organization the Patriots is, and I think even landing us as a client could be a great addition to who you guys are working with. And
Yeah,
I like the idea of a 1 month trial, but particularly during this period of coronavirus, I mean, we're just not seeing the same in season or even training season type interaction with our players. So I want to see if that could maybe be extended to 2 or 3 months. I really just want to get a feel of this product through actual training, maybe even into the game season a little bit before we make such a big commitment. I mean, the 75,000 isn't an issue for us to start with, but we really need to make sure this works for a big organization like ourselves.
for sure. And, we definitely would want you guys to be confident in the decision before you pull the trigger. So, especially with the season coming around, hopefully, knock on wood. But if
Yeah.
we do, we want to make sure that all the, the tweaks and growing pains are figured out in the preseason. So by the time season comes around, there's no issues on your end. So, if it's a 2 month demo, that's a little bit longer than we usually do, but I'll talk internally to my teams. From my end, I'm VP of sales, so I don't necessarily have all the power, but I can definitely see us being able to accommodate that. So when I talk internally to my superiors, I can give you a email back on how about April 15th by end of day, giving you that decision. Then you can get back to me, and if it works for you, I'd love April 17th, end of week, to kind of get the demo up and running. We get our technicians in contact with your technical team. And I'd love to have another call with you on the 17th to make sure that you guys are able to receive the product and answer any initial questions you may have.
Awesome. Yeah. So why don't you, if you could get back to me by 15th, so that's Wednesday, that'd be great. Talk internally with our team a little bit. If you can do that 3 month trial period, I think we'd be interested in setting something up real soon here.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Jordan. All right.
Awesome.
Stay safe out there.
Take care. Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Hey, Fernando, how's it going?
It's going well, Jordan.
Good. Hey, well, thanks so much for taking the time to call today and reach out to us initially. How's everything doing? Family all right during this tough time? I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that maybe our season won't be going on. So I've been throwing footballs around inside out of anger, but
It's a shame.
hopefully everything comes out all right.
It's a shame. I went to school in Boston. Went to Harvard, so I grew up during college there. Such a big Pats fan, so it's great to talk to you guys.
Gosh, I also went to Harvard, so we have that in
Oh,
common.
really?
Yeah,
Look at that. What a fun city to be in Boston, right?
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to reach out. I saw your email, looked in a little bit, saw your work as Bill's assistant. So if it's all right with you, just want to take a few minutes here to understand your needs a little bit better. Why exactly you chose to reach out to us, and maybe how we could be a good fit to collaborate together. Does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Let's just take about 5-10 minutes here. I know it's Easter. You probably want to get back to the family and everything like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, yeah, just start off. Want to hear a little bit about, the Patriots right now and how you guys do communications between the players, the administrators, amongst the team, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say right now, the majority of our communication as far as administrative coaching, kind of more formal communication is done over email. So each player gets their own Patriots email, as well as the coaching staff, administration. So it's internal as far as we have our own suite, but it is done over email. And these days, especially with the younger players we're seeing they're missing out on team meetings. So even little things like team lunches. If we send a last minute email, hey, the chef was able to whip something up real quick. Players just don't check their emails as frequently as they check their texts, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the kids are on these days. So I definitely want to be able to have a more mobile area. And I think that that's where you guys would meet in. That's kind of why I made the initial reaching out. But so I'd say the majority of our contact right now is over email, and it's kind of been an issue for us.
Yeah, it's like you're saying there, a majority of contact over email could be tough with the players. I know we've experienced that a lot in the past with teams we're working with. The younger guys nowadays just don't check email the same way that some of us other folks do. So, how do you see that impacting the business line, especially for a role like yours and seeing the way Bill interacts with the team? Does that constrain you guys quite a bit?
Yeah, it definitely constrains us. I think, Bill's a pretty high velocity guy and he loves to get information, but not only information, but he loves getting engagement from the players. To put it lightly, he gets, infuriated when, he reaches out with, do this or give this to me by then. And, you have 80% team participation, 70% team participation. He's really an all-in team. We as a Patriots organization look at each other as a family. It's tough when your family doesn't show up for you and, when you don't show up for your family. I wouldn't even say it's a growing pain. It's an issue of, it's a problem really, that we're trying to solve, especially now with the fact that we've had to go online. I think we're realizing it's, time more than ever to get away from this old email, from, paper workouts, all that stuff. We used to have to hand them out stacks of just the workouts they're going to be doing. We want to be able to move online. So, we're excited. We're not quite sure how that would work with you guys. We are a huge organization with, coaches amongst coaches, amongst trainers, amongst cooks, amongst staff, amongst administration. So we do have a lot of communication that goes on. We want to make sure that you guys are able to support us because, we can't let even a little hiccup go into our, Super Bowl season. So.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit about how that process normally works. We've been around for quite a few years here, and I've worked with a lot of, pretty big clientele across the different sports teams. So we've worked with teams from the NHL, the Predators, all the way to the San Francisco Giants, and recently even signed on Man U. So I don't know if you're fans of any of those teams, but we've really been able to understand how to, hold the capacity for some of these larger organizations. So I know that's often a concern when I'm talking to people like you and their organizations, the bigger ones, is, landing, really working with a company like us to make sure we can always hit your capacity needs. And I'm more than happy to put you in touch with any of those teams and hear a little bit more about how implementation went for them. Basically, our process normally works is if, you figure this is a good fit for you and for the organization, we'd love to give you guys a little bit of a demo. So we normally start off with a 2-week trial here where I'll get some of my technicians in with your team. Pretty easy implementation process, and just let you get a feel for the software, see how it works, see if it covers those needs and really streamlines the processes before we, go too deep in this relationship.
For sure. I mean, I definitely appreciate the demo. I think, talking to Bill, he really wants to, if this is going to be the right fit for us, he wants to make that full transition prior to the beginning of the season. We would need to make sure that you guys are up and running on our ends. And we have, absolutely no hiccups, before the, season goes on. So I think preseason would be a really exciting time to kind of make sure that this is working. Us being here in April, we're not doing a whole lot as far as, working with our players, communication. It's kind of died down a little bit. So I'd love to initiate a demo. I just don't think that right now is the right period for it. I'd love to, if it's possible for you to kind of have maybe a month-long demo, maybe 2 months of our preseason. So kind of starting it out early summer when we're starting to work with our players and hopefully getting back out to the field. If we can delay the start to then to start the demo and really make sure that it's working, I'd love to do that. Even if it's something simple as you can roll out just an initial communication demo now, like that would be great. But if not, if I understand that you guys are a company, you have constraints, if that is so, I'd love to wait a little bit before we initiate the demo to make sure that things are back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand the constraints with not having maybe some of those same functions we've had in the past. Oh, sorry about that there.
That's all right.
same functions we've had in the past, but we're actually focusing a lot right now with the coronavirus on that communications piece. And sort of like you were saying earlier, it's important more now more than ever sometimes to have some of those tight pieces in place. So a lot of what we do is not just the communications, but helping athletes with their nutritional information and compliance messages from the organization. So I can't make any promises off the bat, but I'll talk with my internal team, and especially for a big client like you, I'm sure doing a 1 or 2 month free trial wouldn't be an issue. And I'd love for you to see it at the beginning here, when you are more offline and even in this off season period. And then also as you start preseason, see how it is more in person. I totally understand that. So, if you're interested in moving forward in this, I'd love to get in touch with my team and maybe mid this week, reach back out for another quick phone call or just send you an email, let you know sort of how our time frame normally works there. And if we can do that 2 month trial, if so, do you think you'd be free for a call maybe Wednesday afternoon just to talk a little bit about the next steps of implementation if we can do that 2 month trial?
Absolutely, yeah. Wednesday afternoon should work well for me. I'm just at home now, so not a whole lot going on.
Makes sense. Awesome. Yeah. So I'll get in touch with my team and look forward to following up with an email soon here. I appreciate your time, Fernando.
Perfect. Great talking, Jordan.
Absolutely. Stay safe out there.
You too. Bye.
Cheers.